Hey guys, I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. And if you read the headlines pretty much anywhere today, it was reported that the US economy shrunk by 0.3%. Let's go ahead and dig in a little bit more into it. And by the end of this video, I want you to keep your emotions out of the market because the market is going to go up, down, and I'm going to tell you what I did by the end of the day. Actually, in the middle of the day, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I did today. Okay, let me go ahead and read this real quick. As of April the 30th, 2025, the US economy experienced a contraction in the first quarter, with a GDP decreasing at an annual rate of 0.3%. According to the advanced estimates released by the US Bureau of Economic Analysis, this marks the first decline in the economy since early 2022. And back in 2022, we were dealing with a pandemic, we were dealing with a somewhat of a stock market crash, and so on. We were dealing with all that stuff. So at that time, we had to blame the pandemic. All right. Now, let me go over 5 key factors here. What's really going on here? Key factor number 1, surge in imports. The businesses knew that tariffs were coming. So what the businesses did? The businesses went ahead and ordered more prior to the tariffs being put in place. In fact, imports grew by 41%. So the businesses bought a lot of stock for their business. Let's say Walmart, they imported a lot more to be able to get ahead of the tariffs. So that's what happened. So the imports increased. And that's a smart move. That's what I would have done as well. Key point number 2, decreased in government spending. President Trump is trying to cut spending. And in a way, I see that as a good thing. But we need to keep in mind that the number 1 spender in the entire nation is the government. The government is the one that spends the most amount of money. Now, with the Doge thing, with Elon Musk, what they're trying to do, they're trying to cut cost. And that did affect the economy. Key point number 3. This is something that is somewhat good and bad because the consumers or the Americans continue to spend. In fact, consumer spending increased by 1.8%. This growth was slower compared to previous quarters. So the American population or the Americans continue to spend, but now that expenditure is kind of like cooling off. They're like, well, something is going on here. Yes, we're going to spend, but we're not going to spend as much. Key factor number 4, business investments. There was a robust business investment. So what happened here? The businesses order more stock for their businesses. That's why the import increased. And key point number 5. This is something somewhat bad because this is what the president is trying to change. The export only had an increase of 1.8%. Let's go back to key point number 1. Key point number 1 mentioned that the imports were 41%, increased by 41%, and the export only increased by 1.8%. The balance was not there. It was not balanced at all. So the outlook here. Well, despite the contraction of the economy continues to show resilience. Now, who are we going to blame? There's something going on here that It's driving the market down, it's driving the stock market down, and is affecting the economy. So, in my opinion, this is my personal opinion, in my opinion, the tariffs are playing a factor here. The president places tariffs, takes the tariffs off, then places more tariffs, takes the tariffs off, and the market does not like it. The market wants something to be predictable. And they don't like that at all. The market doesn't. It doesn't like it. Now, let me tell you what I did, what I've been doing. Because the market has been down, I have had the opportunity to buy more because the market is on sale. And I want you to start looking at opportunities. Don't look at the negative aspect of everything. Yes, you need to keep an eye out for the negativity out there, but I want you to focus on your future. I want you to focus on the long term, and you need to take advantage of the opportunities. Because today, April the 30th, 2025, because the market dropped significantly by 10 in the morning, what I did, I usually buy on the daily basis. What I did, I bought even more because the market is on sale. Let me give you this. If Target or Walmart or your favorite store has a sale, what's the number one thing that you do? You go to the store because guess what? There's a sale, so I'm going to buy more. Well, I want you to keep that mentality with the stock market because the stock market is on sale. Therefore, you need to buy. And when you buy, you actually get more for your money. So it's a win-win situation. Now, I don't want you to be a gambler. I don't want you to be buying, selling. That's gambling. I want you to always think in the long term. Always. 5, 10, 20 years from now. The stock market eventually is going to continue to go up and up and up and up. What you bought today for $25, for example, in about 5 to 10 years may be worth $50, $45. So you see, there is an increase. In conclusion here, what I'm trying to voice here is that the economy, yes, it did have a drop. So the GDP dropped negative 0.3%. There's a key factors here that the economy continues to be resilient. And there's always going to be a few things here that will play a factor here. And I believe once the government notices that their policies or implementations are not being good for the nation, in this case, the economy, likely they're going to put a few changes. And I believe that the market will eventually continue to go up. I want you to always think long term, always, because this is what creates wealth. These opportunities that, for example, the one that we had right now, the one that we had a few weeks ago, this creates even more wealth. Guys, if you found this video helpful, informative, please click like, subscribe so I can bring you more videos like this. Guys, just let me give you a key thing right here. Exactly 8 years ago, I was on the rock bottom. I was completely broke. I have been able to get out of that deep hole by investing, saving, and so on, by reading books such as Dave Ramsey, such as The Millionaire Next Door, and also by watching tons of YouTube videos that teach you how to invest, how to save your money. I'm not a financial advisor, but I have done this on my own, and now I'm able to be comfortable. I can breathe. I don't have to worry about, oh, I can't pay this bill. I can't pay that bill. And I want you to have that comfort level in your life. Trust me, it feels very, very good. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. Please click like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.